Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking one of the absolute most magnificent and enduring mysteries of the ancient world. We're talking about the funerary complex of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, the very first emperor to unify China. It's an incredible story. It perfectly blends unparalleled ancient ambition, modern scientific discovery, and honestly, a profoundly human mystery.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the ultimate paradox that makes this topic so utterly fascinating. We know exactly where this tomb is. We've actually known for decades. It's a 2,200-year-old archaeological wonder, arguably the greatest tomb ever constructed in human history. And yet, the central burial chamber remains intentionally unopened by modern science. It's literally locked away, right beneath our feet. So why on earth would archaeologists find the holy grail of ancient China and just refuse to dig it up? Well, to understand why, we first need to wrap our heads around the mind-boggling scale of what we're actually dealing with here. Just look at this number, 700,000 workers. Let that sink in for a second. This wasn't just some standard burial site. This was a lifetime mega project. Emperor Qin Huang ascended the throne at the age of 13, way back in the year 246 BCE, and almost immediately construction on his final resting place began. It took a massive, mobilized workforce of 700,000 laborers working continuously over 38 years to construct the emperor's grand vision of the afterlife. It was an engineering feat that completely mirrored his massive ambition in the realm of the living.
And you know, that intense ambition gave birth to the incredibly famous Terracotta Army. Archaeologists have uncovered an estimated 8,000 life-size warriors alongside full-size chariots and horses. But it's not just the sheer volume that's staggering, it's the insane level of detail. Every single one of these 600-pound clay soldiers has completely unique facial features, distinct hairstyles, and individualized armor. Think about that. This wasn't some copy-and-paste assembly line. No, this was a fully bespoke army built strictly to protect the emperor in the afterlife, standing frozen in formation for over 2 millennia. But here is where your mind really starts to spin. As world-famous as those 8,000 warriors are, they are literally just the tip of the iceberg. The total footprint of the funerary complex is a staggering 22 square miles. To put that into perspective, those warrior pits that millions of tourists visit every single year, they're just a tiny peripheral fraction of the entire site. The complex is essentially a massive underground city explicitly designed to mirror the emperor's earthly domain. We're talking complete with stables, acrobats, and even administrative offices. The accidental 1974 discovery. So how exactly was a complex this absolutely massive lost to history? Well, the answer lies in a complete and total accident. Picture this. It's March 1974. There's a severe drought, and 7 local farmers in Yang Village are just out digging a communal water well. About 15 meters down, their shovel strikes something hard. It's a terracotta head. Now, when first exposed to the light of day, these statues were actually brilliantly painted in vibrant reds and purples. But terrifyingly, within just 15 minutes of hitting that dry, open air, the 2,200-year-old lacquer base coat curled up and the beautiful paint completely oxidized. It just faded away right before their eyes. You can imagine the sheer panic setting in. Listen to this direct quote from Yang Chani, one of those original farmers. He said, "Everyone was afraid to touch it. We thought it was a temple statue, a Buddha, perhaps. We were frightened that the Buddha would punish us." This really grounds the discovery for us. These guys weren't thinking about historical significance or archaeology. They were absolutely filled with superstitious dread. They had inadvertently disturbed something incredibly ancient. And the immediate destruction of the statue's colors, well, that only fueled the terrifying feeling that they had unleashed something unholy. Deadly traps and mercury. You know, that superstitious dread actually perfectly echoes ancient legends that have surrounded the emperor's tomb for thousands of years. And this brilliantly illustrates the crazy intersection of history and science. The ancient historian Sima Qian, writing way back around 100 BCE, described a tomb filled with mechanical crossbows rigged to shoot intruders and literal oceans of liquid mercury kept flowing by ancient machines. For the longest time, historians totally dismissed this as just poetic exaggeration. But guess what? Modern geophysical surveys have proven him right. Acoustic scans detected an untouched 80 by 80 meter air chamber. And shockingly, they found mercury anomalies directly over the mound at 100 times the natural background level. Based on those soil samples and outgassing rates, scientists estimate there could be up to 100 tons of liquid mercury sealed inside that central chamber. 100 tons. This isn't just a fascinating historical detail. It is a massive, highly toxic environmental hazard. Mercury vaporizes at room temperature, right? So if archaeologists were to breach that chamber without the absolute perfect containment systems, the vapor pressure could cause acute toxicity in minutes. Furthermore, simply disturbing the soil could leach that heavy metal directly into the local groundwater of the Wei River watershed. It turns out the Emperor's ancient deterrent is still working flawlessly today. The real human curse. Because while the Emperor's physical traps haven't claimed any modern archaeologists yet, the discovery of the tomb most definitely claimed victims.
This brings us to what is widely known today as the Terracotta Curse, and it is absolutely vital to define this properly. We are not talking about some supernatural vengeance from beyond the grave, no. It's the tragic, very real socioeconomic reality of displacement, crushing poverty, and severe illness that systematically befell the original 7 farmers who unearthed the site. Their lives were not enriched by finding the 8th wonder of the world. In many ways, their lives were effectively destroyed by it.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it reveals an almost unbelievable contrast. Today, the site generates an estimated $70 million in annual tourism revenue. There are even imposters who had absolutely nothing to do with the discovery sitting in gift shops making lucrative profits off tourists. Meanwhile, the actual discoverers? They received a collective reward of about 7 cents. Their ancestral farmland was seized by the government, and their homes were demolished. Tragically, one of the original discoverers, Wang Puji, unable to even afford basic heart medicine, actually took his own life just to avoid burdening his family. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Why it remains sealed? So, with all the advanced modern technology we possess today, what are the immovable reasons keeping this central mystery locked away in the dark?
So the crucial point is that there are 3 ultimate barriers. Number 1, extreme mercury contamination. Handling 100 tons of liquid mercury without poisoning the local groundwater is an engineering nightmare we frankly haven't solved yet. Number 2, preservation technology. The sudden influx of oxygen into that sealed environment could instantly destroy 2,200-year-old artifacts before we could even document them, just like what happened to the paint on those first warriors. And number 3, China has a very strict official cultural heritage policy against excavating sealed royal tombs. It's a fascinating dilemma, really. It perfectly highlights the tension between our modern desire to know absolutely everything and our duty to safely preserve the past.
Which leaves us with a truly profound question. Between the absolute certainty of toxic contamination, the incredibly high risk of instantly destroying priceless historical artifacts, and the somber human tragedies that already surround this site, are some historical secrets simply meant to stay buried? Maybe, just maybe, the greatest tribute we can possibly pay to the first emperor is to simply let him rest. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. Keep asking those big questions. I'll catch you in the next explainer.